versus Bermuda game. Now, going into this one, we expected it to be a Jamaica dominant performance, and it was no different. Jamaica got out on the front foot, and straight off the bat, Jamaica dominated the Bermuda team. The home crowd advantage, it was shushed really in the first 20 minutes as Jamaica went 2 goals up. Some brilliant goals, might I add. I think all 4 goals from the Jamaican national team were brilliant. All 4 goals, we had goals from Damian Lowe. I think of the 4, Damian Lowe's goal was probably the poorest, but good goal nonetheless. He's a defender, finding himself in the box, and then when the opportunity presented itself, he did what was supposed to be done, and that's tuck it away in the goal. Then we had Ronaldo Cephas with a brilliant individual effort, and as far as Ronaldo Cephas goes, I think most of the games that he plays, it's much of the same, and this game was no different. There were bright moments, but then there were questionable moments when we were basically asking ourselves what could have been had his decision making been any better. So I think Ronaldo Cephas, again, one of those games where we knew even before the game started that the coach would put him out there because of the talent that was available to the coach on the day. He was one of the more dangerous players. We had in the starting lineup, we had predicted Kaheem Dixon starting as well as Warner Brown. That wasn't the case. Bailey Kadamatri started as well as Tyrese Campbell. Kadamatri, I must say, he could have had a first half hat trick. Uh, I wouldn't even say miss because the angle was a little bit tight, but he had an open goal. He had one come off the upright, and then he had one that went straight at the goalkeeper. So overall, though, I think he gave a good effort. Bless up yourself, bless up yourself, bless up everybody. Paulette Wright, Toffee Rudy, sorry. Big up on yourself. I'm doing a quick video because I'm out. I was watching the game out, and I won't get to do the setup that I usually have. But I decided that, hey, I'm doing a quick video to speak on the game. But back to the game. Bailey Kadamatri, we told you before the game that I didn't expect Shamar Nicholson to start because personally, I think the coach doesn't rate him that highly, and we saw it in the game where Bailey Kadamatri came in and he went straight in the starting lineup. So again, based on what I saw from Bailey Kadamatri, I think he looked good. He made some good runs. He gave the defenders a lot of work to do. So for the entire night, the defenders had their hands full with Bailey Kadamatri. And I think overall, the Reggae Boys, they played a good game. They played a good game. The game was calculated. Again, the first thing they needed to do was to silence the so yeah, he got the crowd quiet in the first 20 minutes. Well, the team got the crowd quiet in the first 20 minutes, and I think that contributed significantly to how the team played for the rest of the game. I think the first half, the Jamaican national team showed that they were the dominant force, and they made it look easy, really. So going in at the half, at what, 2-0? Yeah, 2-0, halftime 2-0. I think we were in total control. Coming out the second half, there were some changes that I personally saw in the team that were needed. I think, and I'm going to speak about the positives first. I think Dexter Lembikisa, I'm always impressed. Every time I see him play, I'm super impressed. He always goes forward. He's always positive when attacking. At times left wanting in a defensive aspect, but this evening I think he gave a good account of himself considering the opposition that he was up against. There were a few questionable moments from him, but I think he redeemed himself well. I think in the midfield again, like the midfield for Jamaica, it wasn't there for the most part. The Bermuda team, they were walking through midfield for most of the game based on what I saw. And I think it's one of those where when we come up against better opposition, it's going to be highlighted far more. I think we didn't have the strongest game in midfield, and I think this has been the case for the last however long. Whenever Jamaica plays a game, it's the same conversation, it's the same topics that we bring up, and it's the midfield problem. So it wasn't any different this evening in midfield. Bermuda, they had a lot of joy most of the times. And I think, who knows? We'll see how the campaign progresses, but I think that's where we struggled the most in this game. If there were instances that we struggled from an attacking sense, again, Ronaldo Cephas, his decision making, he got on the score sheet, but his decision making always questionable. Got a brilliant individual goal, took the ball from in his half, and he dribbled all the way into the opposition's half. There were some Jamaican players there to support him, opted against it, and tucked it away expertly in the far corner, not giving the goalkeeper any chance whatsoever. So I think Ronaldo Cephas, bittersweet as always with his performances, and bittersweet because he could have done far better in a lot more instances. Got on the sorry about that, folks. Sorry about that. But yeah, as I was saying, Ronaldo Cephas, so many instances where we saw where he could have done far better. Didn't do that on the day, but regardless, he got a goal. And at the end of the day, that's what folks will remember. As for Casey Palmer, good to see him getting on the score sheet. Brilliant goal as well, surrounded by a number of Bermuda players, and he was still able to get his shot away from just about the edge of the 18-yard box, putting it to the right hand side of the goalkeeper, not giving him a chance. So good to see Casey Palmer getting on the score sheet. And then I think the best moment for me was when Shamar Nicholson came on and got his goal. Now, Shamar Nicholson's goal came in basically the 90th minute. There were 4 added minutes at the end of the game, and Shamar Nicholson got his goal in the 90th minute from a corner. Brilliant headed goal, and that brings Shamar Nicholson's goal tally for Jamaica to about 20 goals now scored for Jamaica. So good to see. Good to see. He's averaging still a goal every 3 games. Shamar Nicholson would have wanted to go onto this pitch this evening and to make a statement, to get on the score sheet, to say, hey, coach, I deserve to be in this squad. I deserve to be one of the main players in this team because of not only what I've done before, but what I can still contribute to the national team. And I think he did just that in his cameo appearance this evening. So the next team that's being picked by Coach Steve McLaren, he will be thinking about Shamar Nicholson, and he will be saying, hey, even if this guy isn't playing as frequently as we'd love for him to be playing in his club team, we definitely need to have him in the national team. And again, it was one of the lamer excuses that I thought came out of the previous appearances that the Reggae Boys had, where Shamar Nicholson was not included, because Mikel Antonio was included and Shamar Nicholson was not. So I've been advocating for this for quite some time, because I think regardless of who we have, and I know we're going for Mason Greenwood, and we have Mikel Antonio, who basically promised the coach that he'll go in the trenches for him. And now we have young Bailey Cadamatri. I think Shamar Nicholson needs to be there. He's been there, done that, and he's still below 30 years of age. Still has a lot of hustle left in him. Has a lot of goals left in him. People may say, well, he needs 4 or 5 chances to score, but at least he's scoring, and he works a lot off the ball as well. But overall, I think Bermuda didn't stand a chance this evening. They didn't lay a glove on the Jamaican national team. From the first minute to the 94th minute, Jamaica had this one under control. Jamaica realized that the opponents were um, were inferior in talent, and they capitalized on that. I don't think there were any instances throughout the game that I could remember where the Jamaican team looked flustered. As I mentioned, there were a few times when the Bermuda team walked through the Jamaican midfield, but right now Jamaica doesn't have any midfield whatsoever. So the Bermuda team going through midfield is not really a problem for the Jamaican team, because of the defenders that the Jamaican team has, and they realize that the Bermudan attack, they weren't as potent from early in the game. They weren't as potent, and they wouldn't be giving them that much work to do on the day. But overall, I think it was a very professional performance from the Jamaican team. The experienced players showed up. Those who weren't so experienced, they showed up as well. Tyrese Campbell, he looked good. Bailey Cadamatore, as I mentioned, looked good. Isaac Hayden picked up a yellow card, which I think, in my opinion, this wasn't like, I don't think he needed to pick up that yellow card, but again, in the heat of the game, players are playing and they aren't thinking to say, hey, I'm not going to pick up a card or I'm going to pull out of a challenge. No, they're out there and they want to win at all costs and they give 150%, 150% of the time. Damian Lowe looked good, had a recent move, and in my predicted 11, some folks had problems with me saying Damian Lowe should start next to Richard King. People were saying Mason Holgate needs to start and all of that. But as I mentioned, it is what it is. I'm not the coach. When I put out my predicted 11, it's based on my assessment of the players that are available. And on the day, the coach decided to go with the players that I had mentioned as well. So I guess our train of thought was aligned, for lack of a better term. But yeah, overall, big performance from Jamaica. They needed to start strong, and that they did. And we'll be looking to play Trinidad in a couple of games, in a couple of days, sorry. And that will definitely be the Caribbean derby, because everyone will be looking towards those two Caribbean teams who are the ones who've been to the World Cup before. Jamaica will want to win to get this one up against their Trinidad counterparts, and we'll be doing a preview for that one. But before we even get to that one, we'll be doing the player rating for Jamaica versus Bermuda tomorrow, so please look out for that. And if you haven't yet done so, go ahead and smash the like button. I'm going to turn it over to you, the Halftime TV viewers and subscribers, now, because I want to hear what was your takeaway or what was your main moment from Jamaica versus Bermuda. It was a very entertaining game, very professional performance. And if you want to add it as well, let me know who your standout player was for Jamaica versus Bermuda. Halftime TV here saying have a wonderful night, everyone. And remember, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet done so, and keep the comments coming in below. Until next time.